Jean's a little bit older than me. When I was a little girl, I looked up to her in school. I looked up to her at church. I thought, this is what I want to be when I grow up. And I don't think I made it, but I tried. I tried. She was an athlete. She was in the band. She was always out. Important. To me, she was important. Every time I looked around, she was doing something. But I thought, one day, I'm going to be Jean Parker. And I think we called her Juanita at that point. Jean was born in Houston to Poston and Neva Parker. She's been a member of the Church of Christ at Groveton all her life. She grew up in Groveton. Apparently they moved from Houston on up here. And she went to Groveton Elementary, junior high, and high school. She's worked at several different jobs through her life. She's married Bill Rasbeary. They have 2 wonderful boys. And I just want to read what we think when we nominated her. We reviewed the criteria for what it takes to be a member of the Groveton ex-students and their Hall of Fame. It states that this award is presented to those former students or supporters who, through their distinction in their field of endeavor, selfless service to society, and our dedication and loyalty, remember that, dedication and loyalty to Groveton ISD exemplify excellence in integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service. I guarantee you there is not one person here who's done more for this school or these students than Jean has. She's gone to every event. I don't ever remember her not being there except when she got her knee operated on. Maybe she missed a few games for that, but then came hobbling in before it was over. She did all of her education here. She was named Miss GHS, received the Daughters of the American Revolution Award as a senior, which back then that was important. They don't even do that anymore. She was a member of the Groveton band for 6 years and was a majorette, assistant drum major. What came after her high school years is what we think truly distinguishes Jean from the others. She's taught Sunday school at Groveton Church of Christ for 30 years. She served as vacation Bible school teacher during those years. She taught classes at Camp Red Oak Springs. Her influence on the youth of Groveton is immeasurable. She taught students about the Lord, and she walks daily in the light of God. The most important things that, in my mind, exemplify Jean are these words: selfless service, dedication, and loyalty to GHS. She volunteered for 30 years as a statistician for the football team. She walked that field when it was raining, when it was sleeting, when it was snowing, and nearly froze her buns off. But she was out there, and the coaches very well appreciated. She doesn't do that anymore, but she's still at every game. Our kids know she's at every game. Our kids look for her at every ball game. If she happens to once in a million not be there, they want to know, where's Miss Rasbeary? She manned the concession stand. She was in Booster Club with us all those years. She fed many kids, as we did, that weren't hers, but we took care of them. I think that you would think she'd be ready to be done, but she's not. She's still here. She knows there are some kids at these ball games that nobody comes to see ever. And they know Miss Rasbeary's in those bleachers, and they're looking for her every time because they know she's there for them. I called some coaches to see what they thought about it, so I'm just gonna read what they wrote me. From Joe Driscoll, he said, "It's my pleasure to take this opportunity to recommend Miss Rasbeary to be awarded the respected award." He said, "I think that she deserves everything you give her. Her children attended Groveton, followed by her grandchildren, and her support has often been in rainstorms and chilling cold to keep these stats, and we loved every minute of it. She did great." From Jim Wise, he said, "For the 6 years I was head coach at Groveton, Jean Rasbeary, Juanita, was one of the most loyal supporters of our athletic program. She kept the stats of our game. In those 6 years, we played 78 games and 12 preseason scrimmages. I don't remember her ever missing one. Her stats were always accurate, and they were so helpful to me and my coaching staff. I appreciate what she did for us. In my opinion, she is definitely deserving of being in the Groveton Ex-Students Hall of Fame." From Kevin Parker, he said, "Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Parker, and I'm a 1995 graduate of Groveton High School. I've also served as a teacher, coach, and administrator for Groveton ISD for several years of my career. I'm writing today to give my recommendation for Jean Rasbeary's induction into the Groveton Ex-Students Hall of Fame. Jean has been a fixture at Groveton athletic events as long as I can remember. I moved to Groveton around 1986 and quickly became involved as a ball boy for Coach Scott Phillips. I remember Aunt Jean being at every game, on the sidelines, taking statistics on every play. She would work tireless hours after the game to finalize these stats and get them turned in to the various newspapers and sports stations to allow our student athletes to have the recognition they deserve. Aunt Jean continued to do this task for many years, and I vividly remember her being on the sidelines as we played in high school. Over the years as a ball boy, player, and later as a coach, it was inspiring to see her love and dedication to this program. She not only kept stats, but was a mom, nurse, constant positive influence for many young men who played for the Indians. To this day, Jean is at all Indian and Lady Indian athletic events. Her dedication and loyalty to the Groveton Indians is unmatched, and I know I can speak for so many of the others when I say it's greatly appreciated. I cannot think of a better person to be inducted into the Groveton Hall of Fame. I present you Jean Rasbeary.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon. I know there's probably a lot of things you need to be doing, but also thank you to the Groveton Ex-Student Association for the honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I just wonder if Mr. Joseph Hensley had any idea what a great association he was starting. So many students have been helped to further their education through the hard work of this association. When I was told of my nomination, it was for my volunteering. Coach Wager came to Groveton. The concession stand didn't have anyone to work it. So he called Larry Roden, who in turn called Ronnie Parker, Keith Senior, Bill, and me. We agreed to help, thinking it would be Thursday nights and Friday nights for home games. Wrong. Our first event was a volleyball invitational tournament the football games, the invitational track meet tournament, and finally the softball and baseball tournaments and games. And we did this for 13 years. It was fun, but it was work. When Coach Norman Cobb left Groveton, there was no one to keep the football stats. I'd never kept football stats, but I thought, well, I'll learn how. So I volunteered and I loved it. Recently, I was asked what the highlights of the 30 seasons were. Number one, the 1984 state championship game. It was Groveton's first state championship. Number two, the 1989 and the 1990 state championships. They won 32 straight games, and it was wonderful. Number three was watching Rodney Thomas play the game of football. Now last week I was in B&B. A lady on a walker came up to me. I do not know who she was, but she said, "Ma'am, are you going to be keeping the football stats on the football field?" I said, "If the good Lord wills, I'll turn 84 years old on October the 1st, and I definitely will not be running up and down the football sidelines." So thank you, Groveton Student Association, for these memories and this honor. I appreciate it very much.
Jean, as the newest member of the Distinguished Alumni of Groveton ISD, we congratulate you. This is in recognition of your lifetime achievements and your dedicated service. We are so grateful for you and thankful. Congratulations.